Hello everybody, Toad Ben here, and I'll be playing Trick or Treat. Finally a title I can say. A new visual novel after the last one, which hopefully this one goes longer. Oh well, time to watch me, a dyslexic person, read. I don't actually know too much about this, so let's find out. The sound of our steps, combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal, is the only thing we can hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only thing that lights up our way. At times like this, one begs to not run out of battery. We walk without knowing what we're really looking for, or better said, for no reason. We are just a group of boys bored of our lives. And this is where they ended up dying, but before that, they ended up finding a hot woman. Oh my gosh, that wasn't even a joke. Trying to create the lasting memory of this night instead of staying at home doing nothing. Today was October the 31st, All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. Now I kind of regret not reading this at Halloween, but hey, I never cared. 3 men, young men, walk through the dark. Up until now, nothing special forest. Up until now, nothing special forest. Me being one of them. What? We are doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad there isn't a girl here to see how brave we are. Seeing it's like that, one could say this is meaningless effort. For a moment, I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 a.m. That means we have been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I'm sure that many people would find a place like this terrifying, but once you get used to it, fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is what we cannot know, what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. But if this is a visual novel, you're about to find something. And with how it's an anime style, it's probably going to be a cute anime girl. At the moment I sighed, feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly we have already demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best to return. Should I tell them? I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest became strange. Suddenly, a cold chill runs through my body. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. For some reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much of my breath became visible, turning into mist. It didn't end there. The air is now filled with rotten smell, just like a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appeared in my mind, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. We all stopped at that moment. What's happening? I asked, confused, while turning to look at my friends. By the expressions on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then when we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to check if it was not a mistake. But we stayed motionless, like statues, without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What's happening? Oh my god. As if I would know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least a large animal, but there is something strange about them. It sounds as if the person's walking, dragging one foot. Just thinking about made me shiver. Dawn, what is happening? It makes no sense. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have a feeling that we are being stalked by somebody. The strange footstep stops, but I'm still feeling the presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but I know that it's looking at me. That cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friend seemed unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have been just an animal. Said one of them, convinced that we were safe. I would like to believe that too. We had a sigh of relief, however bad luck would soon strike us again. Unexpectedly, the forest became darker than before in just a blink of an eye. But that wasn't the fault of the forest, but of our flashlights which went out. Of the three, only mine was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? I asked one of them, scared, while they both beat them desperately as if they were going to revive them. I can't blame them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few moments we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of footprints is heard, but the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we had nothing to say, but because we were afraid. We continue walking desperately. The fear that invaded us, visibility is almost zero, and we have no choice. In fury, we were walking back, looking for an exit, but I cannot remember anything of this forest. We could be walking in circles. I would have never noticed it until it was too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to get out of here. ... My specialty? Whenever you need more dots to be said, I'll say them. Suddenly, my thoughts are silenced. We heard the footsteps of someone or something. Once more, the three of us became statues, waiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. Damn it! Get away from here! Leave us alone! Unexpectedly, the steps I heard closer this time. They did not disappear, rather came at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I moved my flashlight everywhere, looking for the author of those footsteps, hoping for the light to reveal the identity and erase our fears. Nothing. Is that all there is around here? Just empty air? My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was a ghost. Suddenly, when I move my flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I could not distinguish what it was, but for the moment, the light revealed something. I quickly pointed to the same place, but only discovered it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion, and I'm sure I saw something. That was when I heard something nearby. Without even thinking, I aimed the light towards that place. ... What I found left us paralyzed with expressions of disbelief on our faces. It was a white cat with eyes of intense red which stands before us. Her look was not of friendliness, to say something. Somehow I got the feeling it's a female cat. Suddenly she leaps out in a thunderous meow that left us terrified. Sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. The echoes of her meow were heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. There was suddenly an experienced force that hit us free. Dot 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 dot. Flashbang! I fell to the ground, and little by little my eyelids closed. The fatigue became unbearable. I lost consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was going to happen to me. Integers before the night falls. Hello? Oh, okay. It is a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it was that it was October the 31st, far where the memories were when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. I never actually did that when I was a kid, do the trick-or-treating. So yeah, I really don't know how to feel. Just remembering it made me sigh. I felt nostalgic. Oh my gosh, nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least it seemed like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether of superheroes or monsters. I actually wonder what's the most common costume on Halloween. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted red my face and told me, "You will be the devil." But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from house to house, everyone said that I looked like a tomato man. Wow. But those things didn't matter to me, since we had always had a good time. ... I asked for candy now. Even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything. How old are you? Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I'm 17 years old. Okay, that makes sense. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how exciting that must be. ... Back to reality. We are a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We are still not old enough to go to a disco. I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls and have fun. Everything's perfect except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Hey, Alex. Oh, yeah, Alex. Let's have a couples match. What do you think? What do you say? My friend Stephen called my attention while playing with the game console. Rushed, I believe that's what the game was called. A fast but quite complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with them, but for some reason I didn't feel it in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discontentment. I almost felt bad for doing it. Boring! The AI is no rival to me, Stephen said with confidence. Later on he'll be beaten by the AI, and especially he'll be using the weakest character. You're playing on normal difficulty. Does that not help your argument? I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge Alfred. Hey, finally a name I can probably actually say. After leaving the attention to my other friend. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred doubtingly for a second. He's sitting behind the PC. It seems like he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he's in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement, without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He is one of those hero-intellectuals, always looking for rare information to apply to appear smarter than others. I think I knew somebody kinda like that. It wasn't extremely bad. If he's watching this channel, he's probably gonna hate me. Well, then we forgot our pup mistakes and we are doomed to repeat them, he added later. What are you talking about? This village is small and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of the normal has ever happened in it. Alfred laughed mockingly after hearing that. You ignorance is worthy of praise. He paused, filling his chest with pride. The very fact is it is a small town is the reason it's full of mysteries. Do you know that 20 years ago, on this day, a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. Thinking like that happens all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in the very place. I don't even know the history of my city, Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in arrogant gesture. I actually thought Stephen was the one with the glasses, but oh well, makes sense. There is a legend behind the disappearance. That is what I am reading. After listening to him, I took back the computer screen with curiosity. It's then I had noticed it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little, Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Steve and I drew closer to read it. Town of Evident, Oxford Country, 1994. You know, before it gets too far, this is probably a good stopping point. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And what do you think happened that caused the man to disappear? We'll have to find out in the next video. Thank you for watching!